Welcome all, Kev the Movie Dealer here, and today I thought we'd have a nice little discussion about Supergirl. So I got to see the film probably a little over a week and a half ago, and because of the holidays, I just didn't have time to make a video, but it gave me more time to think about the film as a whole. Now, I have been watching and reading all the different reviews, and there were a lot of things I agreed with, and others that I didn't. First things first, I really enjoyed the film. I had a pretty good time. It's a flawed film that was very safe in terms of its writing, but overall, it's a good time. When I left the theater, I thought this film had a similar quality to another comic book movie that I just saw, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. I literally could not say which film I liked more, Supergirl or the newest Fantastic Four movie. I would define them both in the same category, where they're both pretty safe scripts, but do have a rewatchable quality to them. Like, I would watch Supergirl over Captain America: Brave New World or Thor: Love and Thunder any day of the week. Like, when Man of Tomorrow comes out, I'm probably going to binge watch Superman, Supergirl, and the Suicide Squad, because I think that movie is also canon, but they just haven't confirmed it for some weird reason. So, yeah, there are a lot of things you could easily pick apart with this film, but there are things to like as well. But actually, personally, the biggest flaw I think this film has is Ruth and her whole story. The character was very weakly written. I mean, no disrespect to the actress, but this type of character we've seen done so many times over the years, especially in the big blockbuster franchises like Star Wars and Marvel before. You know, a young kid teams up with a bit of an anti-hero and they have to do a task together kind of thing, whether it's revenge or something a little different. And so when you're kind of doing this story structure again, you kind of need the characters to stand out or they're just going to be flat. And I just feel like Ruth was a character that felt more like a plot device than anything else. And the sad part is, she is great in the comics. She just comes across like she is from a whole different time. And it really works for her and her dynamic with Kara. And in this movie, she's just a normal kid, and it just didn't come off very unique or interesting at all. Now, with Lobo, I do think it was a faithful adaptation of the character, but the script didn't give him a strong enough reason to be in the film. I do think, a little bit of a spoiler here, but it's been long enough for I feel like the majority of us have seen the movie by now. I do think Lobo should have been the one to kill Krem at the end, not Kara. Supergirl killing Krem at the end made her arc really confusing to me. Like, the whole movie, she didn't kill anyone, but she kills Krem, then goes back to Earth to be a hero like her cousin Clark. Like, is she becoming a hero, an anti-hero, or going down a villain arc? I'm not quite sure what we're doing here with Kara. But still, she is a great character, and I cannot wait to see her again in Man of Tomorrow. I think that direction of the script should have been changed. I think it would have made more sense for Lobo to kill Krem, and it would have given him a better reason to be in the movie. That's just how I feel about that bit. But I don't want to make it seem like I didn't like the film. I still enjoyed the film. It's a film that I would definitely watch again. However, it does kind of seem with these box office results, Supergirl is not going to be getting a sequel. Probably for the majority of this whole cinematic universe. But I don't think that's the end of Kara's story. Definitely not. No, we can see her in more films like Superman sequels, Teen Titans, and Justice League. It's definitely not over. We'll see Kara a lot more. I just don't think she's ever going to get a solo movie ever again. Now, like I said before, reading and watching all these different reviews, everyone's kind of saying the same thing. Story is a little weak, Lobo doesn't really have a good reason to be in the movie, and Millie Alcock is a great Supergirl. But I feel like no one really is talking about probably the real reason why this movie was one of the first films in the DC universe. And that is establishing what the galaxy is like in this new cinematic universe. Which is very different than, say, Marvels or Star Wars, Star Trek. Where in those franchises, in outer space, there's a sense of adventure, fun, wonder, and with a little spice of darkness. Like, I feel like over the years, Star Wars has gotten a little darker with, say, Mandalorian, Andor, and the Maul show. But in the DC universe, outer space is very dark, scary, and savage. It's basically the Wild West, or the world of Westeros in outer space. No one is really safe. Anyone can be killed at any second and no one would really do a thing about it seems. Krem, he works in human trafficking, and the movie makes it seem like he's been doing this for a long time and no one is doing anything about it. Even Lobo is not after Krem. He wants one of his underlings that some rich folk put a bounty on. It kind of seems like there's no sense of government here. There is no Republic or Nova Corps to help any of the small folk. Now, of course, there is the Green Lantern Corps, but I imagine they tackle more galactic scale threats, not little crimes like kidnapping. And I'm sure the Corps have their own political issues like they always do. But in this film, it's pretty clear. The galaxy is very dangerous, unsafe, and terrifying for anyone. Even someone like Supergirl. And I gotta tell ya, I really dig it. This direction of outer space feels fresh and new, which also could lead to amazing stories down the line. Hell, I'm more upset that the Green Lantern show doesn't take place in space. I want to experience more of the DC Universe's galaxy. I want to see how the new gods play in all this. I want to see Superman deal with all this darkness. Man, I would love a Superman Up in the Sky adaptation. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of that comic, I definitely see the potential of a great movie there, especially in this type of galaxy. Whew, that could be something awesome. So yeah, I think the world building in this movie is pretty great, and I feel like no one is talking about it. I think this type of direction and style for outer space could lead into some amazing stories down the line with other characters, like Superman, like the Green Lanterns. Hell, I would love to see more Lobo. Obviously, who wouldn't want to see a Lobo movie? But that could also dive us more into what it's like to be in this galaxy, so to say. So yeah, guys, that's what I really wanted to talk about today. I just feel like no one online was really talking about the world building going on here, and it just makes me more excited for future projects that takes place in outer space. I hope the Supergirl movie is just a speed bump in the universe. I hope this doesn't fully damage it like a lot of people online are saying, like, oh, it's over, bring back the Snyderverse. It's not going to happen. They're going to keep going with this. However, it does seem like Man of Tomorrow has a lot more pressure on its shoulders than it did before. Absolutely. And I really hope James Gunn would focus more on the bigger characters after Man of Tomorrow. We got all these shows that they're announcing, and we got this Deathstroke and Bane movie, which they all could be really good. But you gotta establish more of this universe. You need your Batman Brave and the Bold. You need your Wonder Woman movie. I'm not saying you need to do Flash or Aquaman. No, but if Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl are your lead characters in your cinematic universe, you need to establish them first. I would have preferred it if they did Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then Supergirl. That it is the obvious route to take, but I think as a DC fan, I feel like that would have helped their world building a lot more. So yeah, guys, that's what I want to talk about today. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave your comments below. Tell me what you guys think of the Supergirl movie. Tell me what you guys thought of their direction of outer space. All right, I'll see you guys later. That's gonna be enough from me today. Ciao.